Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is a recap of my first trimester. I'm going to go over all of the symptoms that I had as well as products that I used to just about barely get me through this time. So I hope you enjoy it. I hope you guys didn't have as rough of a time as I did. Myself, like my body in general, does not do well with hormones. When I was first put on birth control years ago, I had gone through multiple different pills because everything that I would take would make me really, really sick. So I wound up just needing a really low dosage, but it took quite a long time to figure that out. So that is part of it. The other part of my body, just in general, is if you are new to my channel or did not watch my cancer diagnosis videos, part of my last form of treatment was a type of chemo called endocrine therapy, and that essentially, because my cancer is fed by the type of hormones my body makes, we had to shut them down. So my body has been in full-blown menopause for the last 3.5 years. So I went from having absolutely no hormones to them coming back around, me being, a 33-year-old again internally, to now having pregnancy hormones mixed in with that. And needless to say, I did not do very well with it. So when people would ask, how are you feeling? What's going on? I would literally tell people that it was worse than going through chemo because, and I know people won't like that I say that, but at least during chemo, I had a whole bag of pills that if whatever ailment I was feeling, I could take something and it would typically make me feel better. With pregnancy, that's not the case. So I did struggle pretty hard. I didn't just have morning sickness. I was sick 90% of the time that I was awake. And it's not just like, oh, I'm a little queasy, I don't feel very well. I was full blown, I'm going to yak at any minute if I wasn't throwing up. I threw up every day. Like, even within the first 5 minutes that I was up, if I would brush my teeth, I would get sick. Taking pills would make me sick. I just, like vitamins, it was not good. Sometimes coffee would make me throw up. So I had no idea when that was going to happen. So it was so bad 2 different times that the first time I was probably only 8 or 9 weeks. I was throwing up for 2 days straight. I couldn't keep even water down. It was really bad. So I called my OB and she said, you have to go to the emergency room. Go to Sister's Hospital. That's where I'm going to be delivering. And they're set up for mothers and children and whatever. So I went there, got a bunch of fluids, and they're like, look, you just may be the person that is like this your whole pregnancy. We might have to put a PICC line in, which I've already done that dog and pony show. I certainly don't want to do that again. But they're like, we might have to do it if you continue to be this sick. So needless to say, I did not have to do that, thank goodness. But another time on a Saturday I was working and I threw up 12 times at work. And my partner is so wonderful. His wife was actually a high-risk patient. Well, not really patient, but when she was pregnant, she had a high-risk pregnancy both times. So he's like really, really good with me. He's very understanding. He really is a lifesaver. But that day that I kept getting sick, like after the first time, and I don't think like I'm an aggressive puker. I think I'm just like the person that like, no one likes to do it, but like I just handle it and then like that's it. The women's restroom is right next to his office, and I walked out and he just looked at me like, what the hell just happened in there? And I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't feel good today. He's like, you sounded like you were bludgeoning a seal. I'm like, I'm sorry, and that's just how he's just funny. So, and I've been laughing through this whole time just to get myself through it. And it was bad. So after that time, and my doctor did put me on Bongesto, which is a grade A pharmaceutical for women that are pregnant for nausea. And it helped, but it wasn't like that great. So I took it anyways, even though I hate taking pills. But I needed to do something because I couldn't keep living the way that I was. So after that day of me getting sick all day again, I was nervous I'd have to go to the emergency room again. So they gave me Zofran, but they gave me a dissolvable tablet that was pretty small. So that did help. I don't remember what grade that was. I did take Zofran before during chemo, all the way through chemo and then after. But again, I didn't want to have to take something if I didn't have to. I don't want to. So I did take that for a couple of days just because I needed to make sure that I was out of that cycle of just constantly getting sick. But the nausea was by far the worst. Like even when we'd run errands, I had to make sure wherever we were going or what we were doing, I was near a bathroom. I had the little like puke bag from the hospital. I left that in my car in my center console because I just didn't know. So that was definitely the worst for me. The second worst was the exhaustion. And I don't mean like I was a little tired. I mean, if I wasn't working, I was on my couch or in my bed. I lived in this bathrobe. I have it on because it is one of my favorite things, but I'm freezing today also. Nothing got done in my house for 2 months. It was to the point where I would actually have my groceries, I ordered them online and then had them delivered to me because it was the thought of having to run errands. There's no way. So I would order groceries and have them delivered, which is super ridiculous, but it helped and it got it done. As far as food goes, I had no interest in eating. It was like chemo. I would want something, I would make it. I had a craving for a caprese salad, so I ordered all the things to make a caprese salad for lunch, and the basil tasted like licorice to me, like black licorice, which it's one of my least favorite flavors. So I just didn't want to eat. I love seltzer water. The bubbles I couldn't do. Coffee I could barely drink, which then led to me being constipated because I know that's like a normal symptom for a lot of people. But I'm sure that definitely played a role because even if I did try to drink a little bit, I'd either throw it up or I didn't want it. Regular water, forget it. I don't know what it was. It was literally like chemo all over again. Like I had no food cravings really. It was just food aversions, but it was everything. Anything like leafy green, like a dark green, like spinach. It tasted like straight chlorophyll to me. The things I would actually enjoy eating, one was rainbow sherbet for whatever reason. That just did the trick. Scrambled eggs. I ate a lot of scrambled eggs, which was good because it had protein. It wasn't super fatty. It was like a decent choice as opposed to the sherbet. I wanted nothing to do with food. I would force myself to eat because obviously I knew I had to. If it was just me and I wasn't pregnant, I'd probably just not. But I knew obviously I had to. So as far as my weight goes, and again, part of this has to do with me going off of endocrine therapy and my body just adjusting back to being a 33-year-old and my metabolism speeding back up again, which came to a halt during my menopause phase. I typically weigh I got up to 145 during treatment, which typically I weigh 118 to 120, which at 145 I was horrifically just uncomfortable. Like I just didn't feel good. It wasn't a normal thing for me. I hated it. But it was really hard for me to take the weight off. And over the last year, I was able to keep about 10 pounds off. So I wasn't like super happy, but it was better than that extra 10. When I stopped treatment and then found out I was pregnant and then was so super sick, I actually not intentionally, of course, but I do weigh myself every week. And so I found out I was pregnant December 7th. January 1st is when I started tracking my weight because I had known that I had lost a little bit. I was down to 121, which in all honesty, I'm kind of glad that my body got back to its normal weight, because if I would have been at 145 and then gained however much I'm going to gain during my pregnancy, I would have been miserable. I would have not been comfortable. I would have not felt just good about myself. I think everyone, male or female, I think everyone struggles with their weight. I don't think anyone's ever really truly happy. I know I certainly would not have been. So I'm kind of glad that I got back to my starting weight because I felt like me again. And now I love my bump. I love the way I feel. I'm like super happy with how I look. And I just know I wouldn't have been if I would have been, you know, 160 right now. It would not have been mentally good for me for sure. So, as far as that, I literally had to make a list. This is my 5th time doing this because I keep leaving things out. Out of breath as I am now. So even before I found out I was pregnant, I was sick. I had like a little head cold, and I would go up the stairs at work, and I was like totally 100% out of breath. Like to the point where I would like laugh at myself, like, what is wrong with me? Like I've never been like this before. It was like I did this stair mill at the gym for 45 minutes on like level 7. It didn't even make sense. Then I found out I was pregnant, and then it kind of all did. So even now, if I talk too fast, I will sometimes get out of breath. Going up the stairs has gotten a little bit better, but like it was weird. I've never been like that before. Eric says I'm moody, which I don't think I am. I'm not emotional. Like during the holidays I was, just because we had told our families, we had just found out, like everything was going really well. So naturally I was just emotional from all the changes and adjustments, you know, we had been going through. As far as me being moody though, I would disagree with that. I would say that I more so have less patience for things. Where typically I hate arguing. I'll typically like just bite my tongue and say nothing. Now if something agitates me or like I'm just annoyed by something, I let it out. So I think that is being misconstrued as being moody. So that's what I'm sticking with, at least. I'm really not like emotional. I don't cry because I dropped something. I'm not like hypersensitive. Certain songs, like in the beginning when I first found out I was pregnant, I couldn't listen to. I would just instantly cry, but they were sad songs, so that's kind of understandable. But I don't think I'm moody. What else? Panic dreams. So I had a lot of dreams early on. They kind of tapered off for a little bit, and they're not nightmares. They're like panic dreams. So I wake up in a panic and anxious. Like I dream about work a lot, which I don't think anyone enjoys, but it's either I don't have enough time to do something, I run out of time. I have had people chase me in dreams. I've strangled someone in a dream in self-defense. Just weird, like anxious, not a great feeling when you wake up, like worst way to start your day type of dreams. So those have been pretty steady, even now. Definitely have had, again, just from all these hormones, I don't typically break out, but my chin and like over in this area, I have broken out a little bit. And I've been very cautious with any products that I use on my face. I have a ton of masks and treatments and washes and scrubs, and I've been really, really careful with what I've been using. So that's been not so glamorous, but just part of it, I guess. When I sleep at night, I'm a side sleeper typically, and I roll like back and forth from side to side. My knees and hips started to hurt. So what I started to do is I have a ton of extra pillows just from all the surgeries I've had to try to prop myself up and get comfortable. So I just took an old pillow and put it in between my knees, and that kind of helped. But then when I would like readjust in the middle of the night, I would have to, like, the blanket would get stuck on the pillow, and then I'd have to flip, and it was just, by the time I was done and comfortable again, I was wide awake. It was really annoying. So I did, at the very beginning of my second trimester, I did order a pregnancy pillow, which I'll go over in that recap, and it is literally, I don't know how I have slept without it. So that was kind of weird. What else? dry skin and lips. I am one of those people that, like the regular chapstick brand, it's my favorite chapstick. I have probably 20 extras in my bathroom that are not even opened. I ordered like a bulk box on Amazon, like one that you see at the checkout at like the grocery store. I have one in my purse, in my jacket, in my car, in my office, on my bed, in the bathroom, in the desk in the kitchen, like in the kitchen. Like we have chapsticks everywhere. And then Eric always has one on him as well, and then in his truck and everywhere else. It does not matter how much chapstick I put on, my lips are just, they're dry. They're not cracked, they're not peeling, they're just dry. Like I almost feel dehydrated, which I'm drinking a ton. And my skin has been really dry too. And I know it's been, like most of my first trimester was 30 degrees below wind chill, like 0 degrees outside. It was very, very, very cold here and then really dry in the house. So I know that obviously had something to do with it. I do not love putting lotion on. I just have never really found one that I like. I did now. But even like my hands, and then it's like as soon as I put lotion on my hands, I like have to use the restroom and wash my hands. It's like a constant cycle of putting lotion on and washing my hands. It's annoying. So dry skin I've had a ton of. So I think that pretty much wraps up all of like my symptoms that I've had. As far as like the products that I've bought or liked or things that have like helped me get through this whole time, the very first thing I bought, and it was probably the first week we found out, going to my aunt's house. So I was probably 12 or 13 years old when my aunts started having kids. So I was like obsessed with babies then. I was like, I would totally have a kid. I was like weird. Like I loved babies. But I spent a lot of time with her because my dad had been really sick. So it was like a nice little like way for me to get away a little bit. And my aunt always had the What to Expect When You're Expecting books. So it's like a nostalgia thing for me. It's not even like this is embarrassing. I made it to page 54. And the whole time we were looking for this book, Eric's like, you know that there's going to be a nap. You're never going to touch the book. And that's exactly what happened, which I don't really care because I still love the fact that I have it just as memorabilia. I don't know. But with that being said, I did download the app on my phone. It is wonderful. I use it every single day. Like it has great articles, you know, different like lists of the best strollers and car seats and things you should be doing, not be doing, like weird symptoms that you're having. They do a weekly video of how your baby's growing and what's developing. And it's just, you know, I don't work in the medical field. I've never had kids before, and it's absolutely incredible to know that it's such a young age, like 7 and 8 weeks, like what's developing in their little bodies. It's just, so I send it to my mother-in-law, I send it to Eric every week. That's how he remembers how far along I am. But it's a really great app. I really do like it. You can put in, if you know the gender, you can put in your due date, which my due date has bounced between 3 different days. And now the doctor settled on August 7th of 2019. So that I really like. I literally use it every single day. The book, not so much, but I'm totally fine with that. The other app, and I know there's a million of them, the only other one that I downloaded was Baby Center. And I did that specifically because it has a whole section where, and I'll try to pull it up, it has a whole section of like things you can and can't do. So on the bottom it has your calendar, tools, birth club notifications. So under tools, they have a contraction timer. You can set your birth preferences, registry checklist, baby names, birth class, a kick tracker, and then there's a bumpy thing too where you can take pictures of your bump every week. But I really like the is it safe thing. It has beauty and style, fitness, health, home and work, nutrition and weight, sleep, travel, and sex. And you can, like, even just for beauty and style, like, it literally gives you a list of, you're not going to be able to see that. The glare is crazy. But it says, like, bikini wax, chemical hair remover, manicure, pedicure, perm, Spanx, teeth cleaning, underwire bra. And it goes from green, which is good, to yellow, like a caution, and then red, which is, like, definitely not. So I really like this because it has on here, as far as, like, chemicals go for in beauty products. So what I did one night is I took the app in my phone and I took all of my beauty products that I use on a really regular basis. And I put them in a basket and I sat in bed and I went through it and went through all the individual ingredients to make sure that whatever I was using was safe. Some of them, like, they're like a chemical peel almost, obviously you cannot use. But everything else, it's pretty good to go. So a lot of my stuff I'll still be able to use throughout my pregnancy. Not that I've really had the energy to do my full nighttime routine with masks and stuff, but at least I know that I can use them. So that app I really, really, really like too. One of the other things that I wanted to do is, and in my first video of why I wanted to start a channel, I had explained that I am not a good journaler. I have a very hard time taking my thoughts and putting them on paper and making it sound like put together. So I really wanted to do a baby journal, like not even just baby, but like as I was pregnant, my brain is shot. Between pregnancy brain and chemo brain, like I don't retain a whole lot sometimes. Like I'll remember the most bizarre things, but if you asked me how I felt 2-3 weeks ago, I couldn't tell you. It all like blurs together. So a girl I work with showed me this thing that she had bought, and it's called a happy planner. And basically it takes like a planner and scrapbooking and combines the two. So at first I'm like, I love the idea, but I'll spend $100 at least on this because of course I'll have to have all the things. And then I'll do it for a month and then I'll just get bored of it or not have time or whatever. So I broke down and got it because I started looking at other journals on Amazon and like Barnes and Nobles, and there was nothing that was what I wanted. So I wanted a place to track appointments and be able to put pictures, and so this is really cool. So the cover that I had gotten, it just says, and again, a lot of this, I had no idea what the sex was yet. So I wanted to do like a neutral theme, which is really hard because it's really kind of girly. So the cover that I got, it says, "This year looks really bright," or looks bright. So I thought that was perfect. You can buy like just blank pieces of paper. You know, they have grids, they have a whole bunch of stuff. So I found it in December, and there's like stickers for National Cookie Day. Like they have ones specific for like baby, prenatal, postpartum, like first doctor appointment, finding out that the test was positive, which is kind of sad because I don't actually have a positive pregnancy test. Ultrasound appointments, it's just really cute. So I did not, in the beginning, you can see there's not a lot written in there. As I went on, I started to, they have like little scales. I started to track my weight in the beginning and the end of the month. So I would just have a snapshot. So I use it as a calendar, but then also whatever I'm craving, if I, you know, don't feel good, if I have a new symptom, I track all of that. So now you can see like my weeks are really filling up, which I love. So this, I'm really, really glad that I did. There's so many different cool little things you can do. And I write in it as if the baby's reading it. So I refer to myself as mommy, and then Eric's, daddy, and my mom and Vinny are grandpa and grandma, or grandma and grandpa. So I really, really like this. I do take like if you can read this up to, it says 15 weeks, and the baby's the size of a pear. So there's pear stickers, and then in the baby what to expect app, I write in everything from that video, the size, the length, the weight, like what's developing that week, which I just think will be a cool thing to look back at and just have in there. So I am really glad that I did this. I have in there, like at the end of every month, I put, because typically I eat the same thing every single day, and then at night, like, is when I eat something a little different depending on what I want. So like I literally log everything that I've really like taken to work with me every day to eat, which I eat a ton, but I eat very healthy. So they all pick on me for that. But it's just, I'm really, really glad I did it. I think it'll be nice to look back on. Even if we look at it twice, I know that I won't regret doing it. So I did really, I use this, like this is like one of the first things I bought as well. And I'm really glad I did, because when we first found out I was pregnant, there was so much going on, and it was like so crazy, and we were so emotional, and like so many things were going through our heads. That's really when I started watching a lot of YouTube, and I started to follow, my two favorite girls that I watch are Olivia Zappo and Erin Williams. And I just stumbled upon them. I would like look up birth and delivery vlogs. I would look up like what to pack in your hospital bag, nursery setups, newborn essentials, just anything I could to focus mentally on something. And I literally started making all sorts of lists, because I'm a planner. That's what I do. And it helps me focus on something. It was so crazy in the beginning that I needed to be able to distract myself and keep myself like focused on something besides like all the what ifs and, you know, how things may or may not turn out. So Eric was picking on me the one night because I was writing, and he had seen the one that has his hospital bag. Like I was making his packing list, and he's like, you understand, like it's been a hot minute since you found out you were pregnant and you're making a list of my hospital bag. And I'm like, look, this is what I need to do. We didn't know boy or girl yet. Like, so there's a lot that I can't figure out with the nursery. I'm gonna obviously have a pretty hospital gown for delivery. So there's so much that I couldn't do yet. I'm like, if I have to make a list of what we're taking to the hospital to like put me at ease and just give me something to focus on, just let me do it. So this I really have used quite a bit. Usually at night we'll sit down, watch TV in the bedroom, and I'll just kind of putz around in here for a little bit. So that I really am glad that I decided to do that. As far as like food and what I wanted, there were, again, water. I couldn't drink seltzer water, which was like my biggest drink, that like I drank it all the time. I couldn't even fathom it. And again, I was nervous. I was dehydrated and I was thirsty. So I opened this. But I was doing lower sugar or zero sugar Gatorade, and I would chug these. So it was something that I knew. And then I'd like get down like halfway and then fill it back up with water. So it was just, again, a little bit less sugar. But I really, really, really liked Gatorade. I still really enjoyed. I would buy like the big handle packs at a time. And cause it was really all I was drinking for a while, just to make sure that I stayed hydrated. So this, I still drink a ton of. As far as food goes and my nausea went, and I like these anyways. I do not like, the texture of saltine crackers. I just don't like them, especially the thought of like throwing them up. I can't do it. So pretzel crisps were my savior. I would literally buy like 4 to 6 bags of these every time I went shopping. I would leave one bag next to my bed. I would leave one in my car, one at my desk at work, if not 2, one in the kitchen always. And then I always had a backup supply just in case. And it's not that I could eat a ton of them at a time, but I would eat like 5, and I'm not kidding when I say like, I would leave them next to my bed on my nightstand. I would eat like 3 of them before I even got out of bed, hoping that maybe having a little bit of something would not make me throw up. So these I still snack on. I love the salt and pepper ones. I like them with like little cheeses. They're my favorite. So those were definitely a savior. One of the things that I did find out, and I have never been big into subscription boxes, mostly because my hair, I've either been bald over the last couple of years or it's been super short, where I don't need a lot of hair product. I'm pretty particular with the makeup that I use, so I've never done like those kind of boxes. But Olivia Zappo did do a bump box review. So that I did wind up ordering, which I have a separate video for a review. I had like 3 of them stockpiled, which I did, like a is it worth it type thing. But in the very first one, and it's cool because it's just for pregnancy, and you put in your due date, and then it tailors the box based off of where you are in your pregnancy. So in my very first box, which was a lifesaver, they sent organic Preggy Pop Drops. There's a little bit of sugar in them, 4 grams in 1 piece. They are drug-free, all natural. They're sour. So there's sour raspberry, sour lemon, and green apple. And they're just these little like hard candies, and they're super tart. They're almost like eating a Sour Patch Kid, which I was all about. Like, that's the one thing I did actually like. I loved clementines. They were super tart for whatever reason, and like Sour Patch Kids, like lemon, I love. So these really helped. Even just like, I would leave them in my pocket, in my coat, in my regular pocket, like my jacket. I would leave them, a couple of them everywhere. This way I always had them with me. I stopped eating them. I don't know why. Probably because they've been sitting here waiting for me to make this video. But I did wind up ordering another container of them. There's 48 in here. I got these off Amazon. I want to say this was like $12 or $13 for all of these. So I will probably start taking them again or eating them again, because they're just like a nice little snack too. And if I have like a wild sugar craving, I'd rather eat one of these than go dig in the bag of jelly beans my partner has at work. So these, I really, really did like those as well. As far as prenatals go, my doctor did not give me a script, which I thought was kind of weird. He just told me to take any prenatal. And I only say that because my sister in both pregnancies was always given a script for one. But I'm kind of glad he didn't, because they're usually pretty big pills. And I was so nauseous so horribly that there's no way I would have been able to swallow one of those without throwing it up. So I actually started with gummies through GNC, because Vitamin Shop didn't have any prenatals when I went, which I thought was a little weird. So we went and I got those, but again, they just played into me being super sick. So I started taking them at night. It kind of helped, not really. So what I did wind up switching to is Ollie, which I have used melatonin from them, their hair, skin, and nails. Like, I don't know, they had some beauty, I don't know, elixir, whatever it was. But I always really liked them. I liked the way that they tasted. I liked the way they made me feel. I am very sensitive with vitamins too. Even tea, like I can't drink tea unless I have a very full stomach. It will make me sick. So these are a sweet citrus. Sweet citrus? What are they? Yeah, sweet citrus. And they're a decent size. I actually do have another bottle of them. But I like these because I can take these any time of the day and I don't get sick from them. Which is nice, because even like my days off, if I'm off, I'm typically off on Fridays and Sundays. I'm out of my normal schedule. So if I am like doing something and I eat and then I take them, or if I just remember, oh, they're sitting here, I'll take them. I may not remember otherwise. So I do like that. Also, my doctor told me to take a folic acid additionally. So I just got Nature Made. It has a USP seal on it. I don't know if that actually means or does anything, but whatever. That's what I found. So I've been taking those as well. My sister has had 2 kids, and she really liked this cream. Now, I know stretch marks are going to happen whether they are or they're not. There's nothing you can do to prevent them. So I'm deathly afraid of getting stretch marks. It sounds terrible. Sounds really vain. I don't care. I have so many scars on my body. If I cannot have stretch marks, I will do whatever I can. So my sister used this, I think it's just called Bosque NYC. It's a really, really nice, it's a stretch mark butter, but I actually really like this just as a lotion. I use it everywhere. It was probably, I want to say like $35 to $38 for this. But I really like it. It doesn't feel greasy. It doesn't feel weird when I put my clothes on after. I use it morning and night. I really, really like this, and will definitely continue to use this all throughout my pregnancy. I literally put it everywhere. So that I am very happy with. As far as my dry lips went, which they are right now, I have a ton of different chapsticks and lip glosses that I've tried, and nothing that I've really loved. So in a different video that I watched, which was like a first trimester like product video, I don't remember who it was. It wasn't the two girls that I normally watch, but she had this brand called Sarah Happ, and she got it on Amazon, which I did find it. They actually sell it at like a really high-end boutique around here. So I ordered it. It was $28 on Amazon, 25 or 28, I think 28. And it's like, it's really hard to see. There's like glitter in it, and it's not like stripper glitter. It's like a iridescent, like it doesn't look like you have glitter on your lips, but it's really pretty. When I got it, I opened it, and I smell everything first. I don't know why, but it smells like rose, not like fresh roses, like rose. And it's one of my least favorite scents. I do not like floral scents. I love fresh flowers. I love fresh roses. I don't like rose at all. So I was kind of disappointed. I tried it on anyways, got a little hint of it, but it's actually not that bad. So I actually do really like this. I use it every single day. It is very sticky, but your lips are movable. It's not like... I have a lot of Buxom lip glosses, and it feels like it's too much. This doesn't feel like it at all. So this I do really like as well. I am very weird. I don't take this out of the house with me. I only put it on after I'm done getting ready, and then before bed. It's the whole putting your finger in something and then putting it on. I can't do it. Like, has to be clean hands. It's just, it grosses me out. So this does stay at home, but I do really like that. I did have a cold during my first trimester, which again stinks because you can't really take anything for it. So one of the things that I did do, which I have been using essential oils for a long time, and not like religiously, but when I remember that they're sitting there, I do use them. So at night, and also to just help me sleep, in a diffuser next to our bed, I put lavender in, which I really like. Now that is one scent that's floral that I can handle. And then doTERRA, I use doTERRA in Young Living, but doTERRA has a blend for Breathe, which is a respiratory blend. And this I really like. Eric has really bad sinuses, and this helps him breathe a lot during the middle of the night. So these two were wonderful. I still do like them. My nose, I still wake up stuffy in the morning, and I think it's this time of year. But for New Year's, when we were at our friend's house, and she is really into essential oils as well, and she's got 3 boys, so she actually gave me this stick because I couldn't breathe at all. Like, I would have done anything for a shot of nasal spray. I was miserable. That same company, the same blend, the Breathe blend, makes like a vapor stick, and it's just like a waxy type thing. It's like peppermint, eucalyptus. You put it like right under your nose or like on your upper lip, and then you can put it on your chest as well. She was so sweet to give it to me, and I'm so glad she did because I used it quite a bit. And it's just like a nice refreshing scent too. So that I really, really liked. Something totally not related to pregnancy as far as my last 2 products go. I get nerve pain from all this. I'll keep this story super short. I get nerve pain from all the surgeries that I've had. Just my nerves trying to reattach in my chest, my back, under my arms, whatever. Long story short, I had crazy nerve pain I've never felt before. I was very nervous because it came on suddenly. My skin was really itchy under my arm, but I can't satisfy because I don't have feeling there. So I have to be really careful when I like scratch because I can't feel if I'm scratching my skin open or not, which sounds really gross. And I had asked Eric, I'm like, it feels like there's a rash on my back. Is there something there? He said no. I went into Roswell for them to check me out because it came on so sudden. They're like, well, maybe. And now I'm off treatment. So now like all of this is, you know, compiling together. And when I went to Roswell, they're like, it's just nerve entrapment. You have cording under your arm. There's nothing you can do. You just have to stretch it. That's it. The next day, I found a rash on my back. Long story short, I had shingles, which I was like, fine. This is right at the end of my first trimester. I was finally starting to feel okay. And now I have this excruciating nerve pain and like this itch that it was just awful. So my doctor actually prescribed an antiviral for it, which like nothing gets rid of it. It just shortens the length of it. So I did have to take pills 3 times a day for like a week, and they were pretty big. So I'm glad I was feeling a little bit better. So the only time I would actually feel really good is if I was in the shower or had like just anything warm. Heating pads, whatever. If I was warm, I felt better. Mr. Beefy's gonna make his appearance. So, which is weird because typically if you have nerve pain, if your nerves are swollen, it actually feels worse. So my last 2 products, the pharmacist recommended that I try this because I actually felt good just sitting in a bathtub. She told me to try these Aveeno packets, and I want to say it's called colloidal, I don't know, oatmeal. It basically looks like oats just shredded super fine, and you just put it in a bath, not super hot, of course, if you're pregnant, but I really like these, and they really helped with my dry skin too. So those I really liked. I still use. You can get them cheaper on Amazon than the drugstore. I think for 8 packets, it was like $6 on Amazon. And then the other thing that she recommended I try was Epsom salt. So I literally take a bath almost every single night now, and I never took baths before because we didn't have a bathtub until we redid this bathroom. So I really, it's like now it's not even just to make me feel better. I can like come home and decompress from the day. My back pinches, my sciatic nerve pinches now. So it's just a nice like sit there for a half hour, watch a couple YouTube videos or one, and just kind of hang out. So that I still love. I literally every night I take a bath and I rotate between the Aveeno and then the Epsom salt. So that I'm sure I will continue to do throughout the rest of my pregnancy. And that's really it. I think I had everything finally this time. So lucky number 5 or 6, whatever it was, we did it. So I hope you guys like this video. I hope it helps find some products that might help you through whatever trimester you're in, or just things that you never knew existed. I don't know. If you like the video, please give it a like. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please do so you can come along on this crazy ride with me. And we'll see you next time. Bye.